The North Pennines is famed not only for its beauty, but also for its wildlife, the diversity of which has gone largely under-recorded. The aim of the WildWatch project, an initiative of the North Pennines AONB Partnership, was to get local people inspired and out there, recording the wildlife of some of the UK's richest and remotest upland habitats. So it was really important to make the project truly accessible, in order to involve as many people in recording as possible. The data they have collected is a vital contribution towards a reliable database of the biodiversity of the North Pennines, the area in which the volunteers live their lives.
Well, you know, I think it is a brilliant idea to have local people recording and surveying. The people who live and work here are the people who know the area best. And, you know, you could bring experts in to look at it and whatnot, but these local people have lived there often all their lives, you know, and taking their dog for a walk or travelling to work or whatever. They've got huge amounts of knowledge but haven't been aware of it. And I think really what WildWatch has done is empowered local people through the training, which has been fantastic, and also giving them the confidence to feel like a natural historian. I think, you know, for me that's really important. I feel now that, you know, that there's a purpose. Natural history is fascinating, interesting, it's brilliant. But when you can actually do something which helps to protect it for the future, it's just fantastic. For me, that's been a great thing. And I think there's something about being part of a collective endeavour to document your local area and its plant life, its bird life, etc. And, you know, it's a very empowering thing. In a way, it can change your life.
The North Pennines is a really special place. It's beautiful, it's remote, it's almost mystical. And it's got such a huge range of habitats, from moorland, heathland, calcareous grasslands, fen, marsh, beautiful rivers. But it's very fragile. Like most parts of the UK and Europe, it's under threat from population size, from pollution. And if we're not careful, we're going to lose parts of the North Pennines before we even know what we've got. And the great thing about WildWatch is it's giving us information. And in many ways, information is power. Because if we know what we've got in the North Pennines, and we have valid data through the work we've been doing in surveying and measuring, we can then put a case to protect the areas which really need our help. And what I think we've done with the WildWatch and all the training is we've given people confidence in themselves, they've met other people, and together we've got this synergistic effect of having so much more things happening in the programme we expected. Not only have we got a lot of information in the records, but we've got so much more people now skilled to survey and to measure and to be able to have the knowledge to go out confidently and say, well, I can survey this area. One of the things we felt very strongly in our group was that it has to be volunteers, and we're not going to pay anybody. So everybody comes and helps and gets engaged. And the other rule is that we don't have any meetings unless they have a practical activity and it's something interesting to do. Because what I didn't want to do was have a group that was sat and planned and had committee meetings and did all sorts of things and didn't really actually get involved in the environment because they were so busy having meetings.
What would you say to someone who has never taken part in wildlife recording or wildlife appreciation?
If you love the environment, get out there, get involved and join us. We're very friendly. It's a lovely, open, relaxed culture to belong to, and will help you lots to get the right skills that you need to ID plants, flowers, butterflies, birds, whatever it is that you're interested in.
I worked in a big city, Newcastle. I'd worked in cities most of my life. I decided that when I wanted to retire into somewhere more wildernessy, and also into somewhere that had a community as well. And I found that Allendale and the North Pennines was an ideal place for both of these. It's a matter of, well, we did this and this happened. That's what the recording is about. We did this and we recorded, and 40 years later we've done certain environmental policies, and we know what the changes have been as a result of those environmental policies, and some of it been for good and some have been for bad, and it's useful to know which is which. I think it's a matter of recording the present for the benefit of the future. When I was young, just after the war, I spent a few months being looked after by nuns. And one of the things that the nuns taught me, I was only 4, very impressionable age, was learn something new every day. And that stuck with me ever since. You know, if you learn something new every day, even if it's, oh look, I've seen the moonwort on the moor for the first time. That's the first time this year I've heard the curlew. Something new every day. That's what keeps you going. And I still try to do that. And it keeps me going. And it'll try and keep me going until the day I die.
Moving to the North Pennines, was something that really inspired me. I have so much wildlife on my doorstep. Also, I was new to the area. I wanted to meet like-minded people, and the first winter gathering actually did that for us. It set us going. It's made us into a really cohesive group that are now taking WildWatch forward, holding events, and hopefully continue recording wildlife. We've organised several events throughout the year. Our most successful would have been the Bat Night at Nenthead School, where we involved the entire school. Their parents came, they used bat detectors, they played games. The kids were very inquisitive, they didn't need much prompting, and they thought it was fantastic. And for them, it's given them a project that they then carried on throughout the rest of the term. We've also had Red Squirrel Group meetings. We've done several moth nights where we've got lots of records for WildWatch, which we potentially wouldn't have otherwise gotten, and that's being repeated again. So yeah, it's great. We've held lots of events.
The common dark arches.
Yeah, so for example,
So there's three different versions of it here. So it's the markings that we have to look for, which I didn't realise before.
Well, that one is a pink barred sallow. This one is called grey chi, C-H-I, the Greek letter chi, which is the black mark on the forewing there.
that is just astonishing.
And so is
Look at that!
That's a chevron, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got its abdomen up in the air. I don't know whether you can see.
Yeah.
They've
done quite well on this.
Oh, look!
I think the most valuable aspect is the awareness that it has raised. More people I know now are recording wildlife. It's brought together volunteers who had similar aims and aspirations. It's aligned them, and it's opened doors for everybody.
I got involved with WildWatch really because I was just interested in my local area, my local habitat. I'm interested in wildlife and wanted to join other people who were also interested. It's made me think about it and look at it in quite a different light, and it's made me want to actually preserve and conserve and think about the ecology much more where I live as well.
The training that I've done with WildWatch has pushed me to follow something that I actually really, really enjoy, but didn't potentially know that I enjoyed until I started attending WildWatch events. I'm doing a degree, I want to go into ecology now, and I want to be a bat worker and hopefully aim to do research for a PhD on bats. So WildWatch actually has had a massive impact on the direction that my life has taken.
How can we continue to inspire recording beyond the life of the project?
I think it is mostly about the awareness, it's about the publicity, and it's about the enthusiasm of the volunteers that you've got. The 3 individual groups working together will be fantastic in promoting WildWatch beyond its years.
One thing that I am convinced of is that this is not something that the local groups can do on their own. You've got to have a wider community.
I believe passionately that we should educate children, young children from the youngest age to the environment. So I'd like Weardale Wildlife to have a programme that's accessible to children and families.
My view is we still need not only to broaden, as you're doing with the invertebrates, which is great, you need to do that, we need to still embed further in terms of the surveying and in terms of gathering data and engaging more volunteers, so we have a group that's going to carry on its own.
I've always said WildWatch is as much about people as it is wildlife. In 3 years, hundreds of people have helped us gather over 20,000 records. And that's because people here love where they live and want to learn more so they can enjoy the landscape and help look after it. That's why the wildlife groups are so important, as they will continue to help inspire others to appreciate and learn about wildlife whilst gaining the skills to give something back.
Why do you think it's important to do this kind of conservation work?
Give a bit back to the community, help the local wildlife. What he said.
What 3 words would you use to sum up the WildWatch experience?
Informative.
Community, educational and inspirational.
Energising.
Friendship and encouraging observation.
Inspiring. Or lots of fun.
Just great opportunities to be out in the wild, looking at the plants. That's more than it's rain.